All right, so I was getting back to tournaments and brackets, and it's feeling pretty good. I have been spending time, even local, with folks in Boston, learning some things, and so coming off of that, I was feeling pretty good here, even though this was round robin for WASD. They put on amazing tournaments, and this was my final of the round robin, and I felt pretty confident going in. And I think I start with a lot of good ideas, and then I lose. And so I want to break this down and what's going on, and then I want to go over sets with this particular player to figure out what their habits are, what my failures were here, and go from there. So this is set one. We do Fireball.
Oh my god,
and then I go in for Rekka. And nice. Overhead. I do a lot of overheads lately just because they tend to lead to good things in the corner. For me, I find not a lot of people are really playing with them, but now we're getting into this like 5 heavy game.
5 heavies.
I'm not really a fan of it, and I think actually a thing that Kurusu's doing very well here is using their fireballs way more proactively than me, because I'm just not used to having a fireball like that. I was playing Lancelot for a lot of time, and so I'm used to running up and a lot of pressure, and it's affected the way that I've thought about Jita quite a bit. So run up DP, things like that. I wish I had confirmed with EX Rekka there to do maybe a proper corner combo. One thing I'm missing a lot here is like actual corner combos. I'm fine with that DP punish, throw, and then trying to do some meaty 2L. And then he like just really starts applying a lot of pressure. I was playing with Rowlet, who's another really great player, in Boston earlier this week, and a thing that they were talking about, first off, I'm glad that I punished with the super, which means that I'm getting a little bit more cognizant of meter, which was something that I was struggling with. But Rowlet was saying that a habit I was exhibiting as Jita was that they could tell when I was telegraphing my attacks because I would run up to attack, right? And so right there, what happened there is that's just me thinking I maybe had a corner combo and I just didn't. So the first round seems fine. And now we're going to start to see where the mistakes come in. Again, I try and maybe do like a meaty sort of Okazemi fireball. And they actually stuff my super attempt there with their OD. Whiff punish with Rekka is okay, but I'm not really applying as much pressure as I'd like. I could have I don't know if I had Rekka in time for that. In theory, that's a good idea. The DP through the fireball, the spacing was wrong, and it's going to basically cost me... No, it doesn't cost me the match. It's very, very close. DP is a tool that I've not really had for a while. Lancelot doesn't have one. Giovanna, when I was playing her in Strive, simply does not have one. Bridget finally has one, so I'm playing a lot of characters with DPs. Sin in Exert has one.
Oh my god.
That's kind of like a weak version of a corner route, but at least it's something, gets me some damage.
Good reaction there to the
but
overhead.
Now I'm letting them really dictate a lot of pace, and it's a problem. I go for the 5th hit of the Rekka there, and I feel like a punish should have come out on their end, but it just didn't.
Oh, that must have been a fireball.
In general, though, I'm doing this thing now where I'm just running into their attacks, and that's just stupid, right? So a lot of big critiques I have for myself in this match is that I am too eager to press buttons. It's a tournament setting, so I'm very jumpy, and really I'm taking a lot of unnecessary risks. I'm doing exactly what Rowlet warned me, which is running into position in order to try and get my whiffs, or excuse me, my attacks, and instead of waiting for like proper whiff punishes, which is something that Jita can do very well. And instead, we are just in this odd position where a lot of my advancing movement is drawing me into attacks, and it's not great. Decent jump in there.
Really nice
I probably should have EX Rek'd again. OD,
right
like,
because, yeah.
I should have played that smarter, but I think maybe Chip would have gotten me there. This match is hard for me. I feel like I could have won, and I think I do okay in this next round. You can tell the nerves are getting to me. I just want a win. I have been playing this game for 2 years now. The community is very kind. They keep on telling me, we see improvement, we see you grinding, but
Oh, that was a weird interaction.
it feels like I've been waiting so long for my turn to do okay in a tournament besides like just win a round. And I'm not talking about even getting into top 8 here. I'm talking about just doing good in the round robin. And it's hard. And here, like these projectiles, I am just not treating them with the seriousness that they deserve. They chip me down.
Rogue's got to be real careful here.
And they get me here.
Kind of dictating the
and
pace.
Tariq in the commentary right there says it properly. I have ceded all momentum to Kurusu as opposed to finding a way to really dictate my momentum. I'm not blocking those fireballs. I'm not spot dodging them. I do at least have the knowledge to punish that boot because it is not plus. I go in here. I should have maybe waited for the DP. This is fine. Tariq says, hey, maybe a DP, but I have SSBA, so I might as well do it. That felt okay. In general, heading into this final match, I was nervous, or this round, but it didn't feel impossible. And then you're going to start to see, like, decent start. And then you're just going to start to see me crumble entirely because I just cannot establish a pressure in a way that's good. Jump in, gets caught. I try and do a wake up DP, which you should just never really do it. And now that I'm in the corner, I fold entirely. I pop SSBA, and that leads to the end. It's really disappointing. I really wanted this one. I think I could have taken it. And afterwards, I ran a long series of sets with Kurusu, which I want to go over as well. But this one kind of stung, right? Like, it felt achievable, and I just let tournament nerves completely muck everything by the end of it. But let's see how the rest turns out in these next sets. All right, so here we go. We are in the lobby, and it is me and Kurusu after our match. I mean, it should be clear, I felt pretty discouraged after that match, but they are a nice player. This was their first tournament. Congratulations on them for winning, but also at the same time, I'll be blunt, I feel I should have won. And feeling's a strange word to say, but what I mean is that I think there were easily preventable mistakes that I allowed myself to make in tournament, which are not entirely present in these sets. So I want to go over these sets, my observations about what I'm doing here that was working out differently than during the tournament, and also some habits that I can see with Kurusu. Step dodge, normal Rekka. A big thing that I was talking about with Rowlet is just like anytime that I'm confirming something, I should be confirming into Rekka. Wake up DP, not a fan, but trying to figure out things. Overhead again so I can get in here. EX Rekka. Not the perfect corner combo, but we try to wait for the DP and we don't get it. This whole shtick with the overdrive, they love it, right? If Kurusu has a thing that he likes doing with meter, or they, I actually don't know their pronouns, forgive me, is near the end of it, they like using it for OD quite a bit. And so my job is to do stuff like this in tournament, which I wasn't doing, which is to get corner confirms and turn them into something, where our match was just a slugfest, right? And I allowed myself to have that be the case. And you can see here, I'm having that happen a little bit, where I think the answer is that I need to move slower. Again, I think I have a history of coming off of like rush down characters, so Giovanna, Kami, pressure character like Akira to an extent, played a little bit of Jam and things like that, and I've been switching over to characters with lots of neutral control, which is, you know, Sin in Exerd, or Jita here, or even Bridget in Strive. And so now I need to learn to adjust the pace of my play, and in tournament, when you're really jumpy and eager, that's a little harder to do. Also, I'm just making some silly mistakes there, right? So they nail me here. First one. But we're starting to see habits, right? A thing that happens is I've played with a lot of people in tournaments, and while I've not cracked the code on them entirely, there's observable habits here that I can start to exploit now that I'm playing more matches against this character, or rather this player, which is to say that lots of fireball stuff, lots of which I'm guilty of too, wide swings with 5 heavy, and then also DPs out of corner, which I can kind of stuff there if I'm doing jump out behind. It's kind of a weird thing to do. I don't think it'll always work. And a thing I need to do is just like, what he's gonna really do is he's very good at jump ins. I'm just gonna use he as an assumption, which I'm sorry for if that is incorrect. And so a couple habits that you're gonna see is pretty keen to hit jump ins, a lot more fireball usage, even at close range, and then also this OD stuff here, right? Which ideally what I need to do is learn to just bait that out and punish a bit more, which I just simply haven't done. But now we can start to analyze the things that work. Opening round fireball happens a lot here. Now we know that if I can get those confirms and get that early EX Rekka into corner, I'm confirming something resembling corner combos, getting some grabs, and then going from there. I should probably just do 2 Rekka hits there unless I know I have confirms. But also, a thing that I can do, which I wasn't doing in my matches before, is that if they're swinging wildly, I can punish that with SBA. There's going to be a couple moments here where I can really punish with SBA, whether that's projectiles or anything else, and it is something that I need to keep in mind just as a general tool. But also, I think specifically if I match up against Kirusu again and they're swinging and I have the meter, I might as well cash it out in order to hit them there, right? A thing that became clear earlier this week when I was talking to, that was a little poorly spaced, but when I was talking to Raul at, what is it, Balance Patch in Boston, was that my meter awareness needs to improve, which was clear in those tournament matches. I didn't cash out as much, although I did use it to punish at least once. And here now, in the future fighting this player, a thing I need to do is just some basic stuff, like block more because I know that I can punish their boot. When they run in, they like using their U a lot. They also like doing it after jump-ins. So let's see if we can get an example of that. Actually, their anti-airs are pretty good too, so I'm going to start adjusting to that situation and just trying to avoid that. Also, just trying to punish DP with DP, not a great idea. So they do well for this first showing, and then there's going to be adjustments. I feel bad. This is not me trying to call out another player. This is me trying to look at what another player does and analyze it, because for beginners brackets, as more and more people graduate, it's going to be more likely that I match with certain people. And that's going to be Kirusu, that's going to be Seafoam, that's going to be a handful of people. And making sure that I can get through those matches, and then figuring out maybe some of the folks who are even closer to graduating, right? So I can at least adjust to them. Like there again, opening round fireball, Rekka into corner. I'm skipping out on the U hit and the fireball just to cash out damage, and that's probably not the best idea. You know, it's certainly not optimal, but at the very least, it is a thing I need to do. Watch, if he, I think, you know, his punishing of jump-ins, like, I really need to telegraph it in order for those to happen. And the nice thing about so many buttons being pressed is that at the very least it means that there's a lot of viable moments for me to punish with my Rekka, because that is one of Jita's biggest whiff tools. And again, a thing that I need to really keep in mind after all the coaching from Rowlet is just to confirm into things. What I should have done there, that's a failure on my part. I should have turned that into a proper corner combo. I didn't. They're pushing a button. I'm going to punish with SBA. So we can see that there are adjustments here just after a little bit of familiarity that I can do, even though my play is not stellar, where I can start to do things. He tucks the throw, which is pretty good there. But a thing that I need to be mindful of here is that I can't throw out raw super as, say, like a neutral skip tool. Again, bad wake up super. What I need to do specifically, I mean, this is probably just general Jita 101, is that I need to really take advantage of the fact that it is a whiff punish tool. He's throwing out a button, so I might as well go there. What I really should do here is just like go with the full rave instead of easy input, but just because of how quick it can be to react to some of those moments, that's just what I do. It's a learning process, right? Like, there's even times in corner combos where I'm using easy input for my DPs, even though I do not have trouble with DP inputs at all. In fact, the hard thing for me is charge stuff. I've never understood charge characters, whereas 6-6 inputs, 5-5, 5-5, I meant to say 2-2. Those are never a problem. DP inputs, it's like not that big of a deal. The thing that really stifles me, like there again, that can bypass fireballs, so I can just use it as a punish tool. And that's something that I wasn't really using during the match as much. I think if I have an opponent in a tournament who's going to be hitting so many buttons, then I should punish with tools that can bypass things like fireballs, or that can just easily reversal kind of errant button presses. A thing that was happening during that tournament match was, because I was so wired, I felt the need to press as opposed to the need to wait. And I'm not saying that I'm doing brilliant here by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want to sound like I'm talking myself up, because there's hits being made here that I should be avoiding. Those whiff hits right there are pretty big. That full Rekka is kind of a mistake, right? I'm not, yeah, you can see there when he does those jump-ins, he really likes doing his little jab kicks. So that's fine, but I prefer to use those as a meaty option after you knock someone down. Or you can use them as stagger pressure in corner. I just don't have Rekka there, so I go with TP. And now you see I shimmy there so that I can try and get something going. I thought it was going to be maybe a DP. Instead, it's a super. The spacing on that super is kind of weird, so I don't really know how to punish it. I'd have to look at the tape again. Opening round fireball just means stuff that I can punish again. He's getting better at calling out my overheads, which means just push a button, right? There's a couple things out there that you can just push a button to punish. It's a thing I learned even in these last tournaments. I think it was Matchstick this week. I was fighting a Ladiva for the first time in a while, and their 5U is just a command grab, but you can stuff that with a button. Here, that's just a bad call out on my part, but also it's like, I don't if I have to criticize that moment on my opponent's part, I don't know why they go for OD instead of just pushing a button and finish me off. Obviously, they get me with the fireball, but it's like, that's no different than a whiff DP, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. I thought maybe I could get a full corner combo from that situation there. I don't have Rekka, so again, we just do EX Ender there for DP. But there's some moments there, I mean, and these are moments that I make, and some that was meter awareness, but also it's just like, sometimes the kill is right there, and you don't need to do anything fancy. Sometimes you just need to press like a heavy button or even a light button. In fact, a big criticism I have for myself right now is that I need to find ways to incorporate Jita's light buttons into my offense a little bit more, whereas I've been using mids and heavies. That's a decent whiff punish, I think, and then the grab, and then just doing that for some pressure again, seeing what I can get. Off that that heavy, I probably should have just practiced, or I should have just confirmed, and I didn't. He's really pushing a lot of buttons, though, which means that I can kind of deadly rave pretty easily, and then I can also just come in with a meaty 2L. So we're seeing situations here where the nature of the fight is way different than what was going on in the tournament, which I think is just, I mean, first off, they played well. You should never diminish the skill of your opponent. If they beat you, they did something well. And also it means you did something poorly. But it also primarily means they did something well. They kept their composure. They had an answer. It means they were doing things well. But at the same time, I'm looking at these matches here, and I'm starting to see answers that are more apparent. And I'm starting to see habits in this player, which could maybe change by the next time we're in a tournament. A lot of that is OD stuff near the end. I'm wondering if there's going to be ways for me to bait out OD. I should probably talk to maybe to Zombie Moo or someone about that, about DP, not DP bait, DP, OD bait, just because it is a thing that I've neglected. And I think that if I know that I'm facing an opponent, that's a decent confirm there. That's a more proper corner combo. I should have charged the fireball, but I didn't. That's okay. And then we go down for that again. You can see he goes into OD. I'm surprised he didn't wake up super or something. The DP mistake. Don't know what the raw DP there was really meant for. You know, my big critiques for myself right now are the things that Rowlet has really pointed out, which is if I am advancing, it means I'm probably going to push a button, which makes it easy for someone to punish me. I need to be careful about wake-up DPs. I've been doing them less, but when you get a tool like that, like a toy like that, it's tempting to use it. Except if you're, for Sin in Xrd, it's a little different because his DP is like something you cancel into other stuff because it is just wild. But Xrd is a very hard game, and my experience, well, hard in the sense that my experience with that community has been like way more confrontational and difficult than things like that. I thought that was a fair DP attempt, but I think they were waiting for it. So neutral jump. If you're seeing, yeah, DP out of the corner, not my favorite thing. He knows I'm gonna run up grab. Yeah, you can see here a thing that's happening a lot. That's a decent confirm off the character action. Again, I'm neglecting my fireball and the extra hits there. I mean, as long as I'm getting some sort of corner combo, I'm feeling better about myself. Which is to say that I'm finding it easier to be cognizant of those things, even though, you know, I try to be cognizant of them while playing as Lancelot, but Lancelot's corner combo is very odd. There's a lot of, it's almost like juggling, right? Whereas here it is not super straightforward, but I think more easily understood. in my opinion. And so now the question is, you know, can I keep them in the corner? What tools can I have? They're definitely trying to do some things. An interesting tool that I have there, which I'm not sure how often I'll apply, is that I can get, again, button being pressed there, punished with super, might as well. A thing that's happening is in that corner, I'm finding that 2L can, it's not quite a cross-up, but it does get me behind them and can do some stuff. It's something to keep on the table, but I'm sure that tool or somebody will tell me that it is, like, not, like, a real fucking thing, and that's fine. Again, you can see, like, they're doing a better job of handling things as I approach, and I think my big criticism is that I want to slow myself down. They're okay on jump-ins there. One thing that they're not really doing is cashing out super, right? So this should kill. This is the Midwest classic, which is just the sweep into super. I feel like they save a lot of their meter for OD when they could be using it for other purposes. Which, I mean, if I face them inside of a another tournament setting, that's a habit I can assume. Doesn't mean it will actually be the case. It could easily change, but it is a thing that I can observe looking at footage and understanding, like, hey, this is what I'll do. That, I think that was meant to be a fireball, and so that's a mistake on my part. You can see I'm waiting for him to toss out a button. I do a rush, and I'm waiting for, like, maybe another fireball. That actually hits, which is impressive. I think I was maybe trying to push 2L there on a run-up. It's not going to be enough to kill, though. There's a couple things I can do with those fireballs. I think if I'm in a grand mirror, depending on who I'm facing, H fireball will stuff out, or it will beat L and M, and then also jump-ins, JU is just a fair idea. Those can lead into combos. It's just more a matter of the jump is sort of not my favorite option, especially if it's someone like this who's shown that they can, you know, very often, or at least often enough, DP on a jump in, right? They're not hitting me with 3U or anything, but they are DPing me at the very least. So, you know, if they're tossing out fireballs, then a thing I kind of want to do to beat their fireballs to kind of toss out my own. That's a decent, like, not quite cross up, but, and again, look, I'm waiting for him to toss out maybe another fireball. That one got me because I'm pretty sure it was an H fireball. So there's some nuances there that I need to figure out. I could have gone into Rekka there. I don't know why I used DP. And again, some of the habit that's getting me killed the most, right? If the thing that was getting me fucked up in the tournament was nerves and mashing buttons, a thing that is affecting me, at least in these matches, even though a lot of them are ending up in my favor, is that I will run and then attack, right? Which leads to a readable pattern that can be taken advantage of, whereas some of what I should do is, obviously I can use my corner carry to get them where I want them to be, but also what I should do is sometimes wait. I'm okay with this punish too, right? Again, there's a lot of button pushing, and I'm not being super patient because I'm pushing a lot of buttons too, but, you know, and you can see that those jump-ins, like, he really likes pressing 2L afterwards, which means that I think if we see each other in tournament again, it is an assumption I can make until they prove me wrong that on a jump-in they will follow up with a low, which may or may not be true. My biggest weakness right now is that I am not blocking their fireballs. I'm trying to react to them with fireballs of my own. Whereas I think a thing I should start doing. There's the OD. And the spacing there is not exactly to my favor. Brekka. Not enough to get me what I need. Low. So that's okay right there. Playing these matches, like, I don't know. Again, I don't want to... I liked playing this player. They are learning. They are only going to improve. They have some nice use of tools that I even neglect, which is to say, like, their use of Fireball is probably just better than mine. And, you know, there's something for me to learn there. And also there's something to be learned from just the mental of that first match, which was I don't know if I was overconfident, but I had momentum, and the minute I felt something slip, I did not feel self-assured enough to find it again. I'm going to talk to some people about that. I'm talking to, like, Prada, somebody who I tried to talk to a lot about potential match concepts. Rowlett was very helpful in person. I'm gonna probably see if I can tap Tool for just a quick session on some Jita stuff. There's motion there, which means punish. That's not always true. That's very frame dependent. And you know, a thing that I'm doing, which I shouldn't be doing unless it's the corner, is I shouldn't be trying to meaty Fireball unless it is in the corner. So there's a habit there that I'm observing in these matches that I should fix, right? What I should be doing is exploring different options for resetting my pressure. Maybe even sometimes letting them wake up and see what response they toss out that I can then react to. Even if that just means exchanging a Fireball war for a little while. This is, of course, assuming that I'm fighting another Shoto. That's probably true if I'm even fighting Belial or something, although Belial has a couple of tricks that make the Fireball battle probably more advantageous to him. And you can see I'm doing that thing where I'm running forward and I'm paying for it a little bit. That should have gone into a confirm of anything, really. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Again, I'm omitting the Fireball, so critique of myself is that I need to add the Fireball in there and do the full route. The OD stuff here, it's like, it kind of works, but I don't know, like, right now, I think in the future, again, if I see them, there's a couple assumptions I'm going to make, which is lots of Fireball game, jump-ins that go into lows, lots of meter saving until OD, and then I would say, you know, a lot of buttons being pressed out that lead to punishes like this. That can change, right? This is a case of I slipped a lot during a match that I feel I should have won, and now I need to understand player habits. And I also need to understand my own habits. And right now it's like I spend a lot of H versions of things when I think I can probably get away with less. I think also, if I have knockdowns in the corner, I can probably charge up my U action a little bit more. It could be useful. Again, you can see me running in and taking damage for it. Making a lot of whiffs. Mistake on my part. So this is basically just how I died in the last match, although they don't punish properly. Can I get in? Yeah, again, I'm omitting the Fireball. I think I'm just trying to take some sure damage. I take damage from the OD burst there, but again, a thing that I'm doing, which I don't know if it's smart or not, is applying overheads with a bit more frequency than definitely more frequency than I did as Lancelot, and I can't tell if that is smart or not. And again, trying to find answers to the fireball lore, whether that is to toss out heavy versions that will bypass those or do some jumps. I think now that I have meter, the thing I'm waiting for is just the right moment, but it just doesn't come. Again, they jump in and they go low. Like, you can just see habits, right? And these are not habits that you notice necessarily in the middle of a tournament when you're kind of nervous. Like, I don't know, man. I've been playing this game for 2 years, and everybody's very kind, like, super kind and helping me learn. But I feel like I am just this pot gremlin who people are like, oh, Harper's kind of nice, but, like, she's not good. And I would very much like... That's just death right there for me. I'd very much like to be able to apply some lessons from a variety of places. And in here, you know, the other 2 people I lost to were 2 Charlottas, which means some matchup knowledge, things that I need to check there, and also just I'm gonna review those tapes on my own time. Maybe see if there are any questions I can ask those players. Again, punish jump in. They're not always consistent about it, but it is like, it means that if I face them in tournament again, I need to be considerate of when those moments can be. That is a spacing matter. I should have done full Rekka. This could be death for me. No, good jump in. Yeah. They're not cashing out a lot of meter. They're not using a lot of it for anything other than OD. So I think there's some strategies I can work around this, assuming that this doesn't change too much in time for the next like WASD beginner intermediate, and I'm able to match up with them again at round robin. I would like to redeem myself very much. Again, not because I think they're a bad player. They're not a bad player. They beat me. But because I'm seeing things now, obviously with the benefit of hindsight, and with a little bit more, clear head of my own, that I can see ways that I can kind of exploit, behaviors on their parts, and also ramp in mistakes on my part, which were mostly that I just like played way too fast. And in these follow-ups, I saw habits that were exploitable. I don't know if it was brilliant, but it was doable. And so I need to apply these lessons. I need to think about what Rowlett taught me. I got to talk with Prada and some people tonight and just think of what can happen next time, because I want to grow. And I think there's a lot of good chances for it.